experienced. It's like a magic trick. Coming from
And we do it with our kids. We do it with your kids, guys.
I did this to my nephew, and he said he put crazy glue, and he wants to be a hockey player, and he just got drafted this summer for the Predators in the 3rd round. And when I did that to him, and do this to kids because it is mind-boggling. But guys, remember, this is a cup. I either pick it up or I don't. You can't try. So when you're writing your goals down, it's really, really important that make goals that are palatable for yourself, and you have to believe in what you're saying because thoughts have power. Okay. Thoughts have power, and I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Joe Dispenza. He's got a great 11-minute video, and breaking the habit of being you or stopping yourself. I forget which one, but he says thoughts are for the mind, and feelings are for the body. And when you get your thoughts and feelings in sync, that's when success is going to happen. Example: I should do my 2 a day, but I don't feel like it. I should go to the gym, but I don't feel like it. I should go to the regional, but I don't feel it. When your thoughts and feelings are in sync, okay, feed your subconscious mind, picture, focus on your dream board, and then the subconscious mind will bring you there. But you have to visualize it. You have to really make that happen. So, did you guys find that to be a good exercise?
Yeah.
So, how do we use this? When you're inviting people, when you're talking to people, make sure that you're using positive words. Make sure that you're in that peak state of mind. Okay, I'm not going to try to invite somebody. I will. Tony,
Try
listen.
to have an RRP.
Yeah, just do it. And if you don't have anybody, that's
Book it and
okay.
make it happen. Yeah.
Exactly. Judy?
No, I'm good on that. And you know what? There's always, I forgot to mention before, like even when you come along a path and there's roadblocks, there's always going to be roadblocks. There's just a story I wanted to share is when anybody ever here wanted to quit, like the orange or something. Of course, right? It happens. I mean, it happens in anything. I mean, we always say, Syl and I, it's a good thing we don't want to quit on the same day. So it even happens to us, right? So I was saying, but traditional business, the same thing happens, guys. This isn't just unique. It happens in our life everywhere we go. There's disappointments and hurdles and obstacles, and I always think back to this example because it's still very fresh in my mind. When I owned my New York Fries, I had a guy that was on shift, and he actually put his foot in the fryer. You gotta understand, the fryers are this high, they're waist high. Like, how do you get your foot first off in the fryer? And he had like 2nd-degree burns, and his parents wanted to sue me here. I'm like, oh my god, I quit, like I'm done, I mean, imagine that. I mean, first off, feeling horrible for this child who's now going to have to get skin grafting and all this, and then kind of like, what the heck were you doing? Like, how the heck? And this is, but that's the kind of stuff that happens in our life all the time. And so remember that example, and it's a horrible, horrible feeling, but we worked through it, we got through it, but if I didn't have, I mean, thankfully, we hold on because of our dreams and goals and our desires and passions, or we hang on because I had a small business loan. I had a lot of people that were depending on me. I couldn't quit. But the cost of this business is so small relatively to paying $400,000 for a franchise, right? That we quit on ourselves just when we're that 2 feet from gold. So you got to remember this, guys. If you treat this like a business, if you take it seriously, this is big business. You will develop a business. It takes time. But if you treat this like a hobby, what are we going to get? It's going to cost you. Ask John and Mary. They got lots of amazing hobbies. I'm sure they cost you a lot of money. But that's your passion, right? But they're not making you money. They cost you money. So if you want to do business, this is what it is. So Syl's just going to give a little comparison.
Actually, a couple of these I'm going to share is, if anybody's ever read The Magic of Thinking Big, there's a great example in there about the brick builder, okay? And the guy is talking to these 3 people, and they're both bricklayers. So the one asked the first person, what do you do? Well, I'm a bricklayer. Okay? They asked the second person, what do you do? I lay bricks and I get paid $15 an hour. The third person, they asked him, what do you do? I'm a bricklayer and I'm building the most amazing cathedral for myself, or for our community. So how do you relate this to Neora? I'm selling night cream. Okay? I got paid so much money last month and they expect me to do my order every single month. Or number 3, are you building a legacy for yourself that you can share and transmit with your family? So you have to decide, what is your vision for yourself? Like the McDonald's owner. I don't sell Big Macs. I own a McDonald's. Okay? So you need to see yourself as you want to be. Because if you can't see yourself there, okay, success will not happen. And that's why having short-term, weekly and monthly goals and long-term goals are important. But a lot of people say, I'm making, $500, If there's stats showing that if you're making $300 to $500 a month, I think it's 60–70%, I don't know the exact number, you will not believe that. And I want to just share something that really impacts people. And it's comparing residual income to an asset income, okay? If you wanted to make $100 a month residually, and this is assuming that you're getting paid 5%, okay? And unfortunately, I don't think there's a lot of returns out there that are doing that, but let's just make that assumption, okay? If you want to make $100 a month, you have to have an asset of about $24,000. Okay?
Think about that, yeah.
If you want to have a residual income of $200 a month, you need to have an asset of about $48,000.
And that's a free clear asset,
Wow.
not one that the payments on.
Okay? If you want to make $500 a month, you need to have an asset of about $120,000. Okay? If you want to have an asset, make $1,000 a month, you have to have, an asset worth about $250,000.
So think about what you're earning and put that into an asset, saying what I'm earning, even if it's $100 a month, my business is valued at because it's a residual, guys. Residual
Exactly.
every single month.
And if you want to be earning $5,000 a month, that's like having a $1.2 million asset. What is the mortgage on that going to be? How many people want to get into investments? Okay, and you need to get a mortgage and stuff. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that's associated with that. So when you think of this business as a premier director, what does the premier director need to do in volume every single month?
20,000.
20,000. That's $250,000. I'm just going to round up for simplicity. That's $250,000 business. Okay. If you want to be an area marketing director, what's the monthly goals of an area marketing director? 40,000. That's a $500,000 business you're running. And guess what, guys? No overhead, no employees, no inventory. You don't have to go to the bank to put all of your assets on the table as collateral. Okay? A national marketing director. What's their requirements every month? 125,000. Okay? So that's almost, let's just say for simplicity, $1.5 million. Okay? That's what's possible. Look at the residual lifestyle bonuses that are available with those businesses. So realize what you have and what this business can do. Because you don't need money to make money in this business. You need to be able to go, and I shared this the other night. Network marketing, is not like retail. Retail is a few people doing a lot. Network marketing is a lot of people doing a little bit. When Judy wanted to make more money with her New York fries, she had to open up a new location. Her first one was $450,000. So when she wants to open up another location, guess what? She needs to dish out whatever the cost is of that franchise in that area. And she wants to open up a third one, guess what? That's a third small business loan. What do we do in this business? We get started for $500 to $1,000 a month. And you have the ability, to talk to somebody in the United States, in Canada, in Mexico, in Colombia, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in Australia, in New Zealand, so on and so forth. And guess how much it costs to start a business in another country, get somebody going? It costs you $0. Because the company's responsibility is to create everything for you, and all we have to do is go in there and market. So when you put that into context, to me this is the greatest industry in the world, and Judy talked about it. It's the greatest equalizer. Doesn't matter your sex, your religion, how old, how young, what your background is where do you want to go. So setting your goals and having your goal in your dream board is really, really important, because anything is possible and achievable. Okay?
And you
Anything
want
is
to share it
possible.
with your family. I mean, I have
Absolutely.
people, I have one girl that says my goal is 5 a day, and she has 5 kids, and she puts their name on a sticky. And every day she does her one a day, she takes off one of the stickies. So when the kids come home from school, they go and look and say, "Mom, keep working, my name's still up there." Involve them, say, "Hey, this, like Haven," and talk, share people your dreams, have them hold you accountable. I mean, we're only here really, obviously, because of all you, all the team and all the people here, but it's also because of Haven. Haven had a dream of coming to a NASCAR event. We didn't know what NASCAR was 3 years ago. Now apparently I'm pretty good at it. He had a dream of coming, and so we said, well, we're going to make it happen, and while we're here, we're going to, also tie it with the regional, and we'll make it happen for him. His dream was to come, to this big event. This is huge for him. But he talked it up so much. He didn't say it one time. He talked it up every day, all the time, right? And this summer we were at a conference and we met an old friend, and again, we were sharing his dream because he's so passionate about it. He tells everyone. And so Haven wasn't there, but we were telling our friend how passionate he was about NASCAR and all this. And he said, wow, well, who's his favorite driver? And we said, Joey Logano. And he said, oh my God. He says, hang on. He says, let me text my girlfriend. She works for a TV show, and he comes in there and interviews there on that TV show, and she does the hair for Joey Logano prior to the show. Hello. And makeup. And she says, so yeah, I know him. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He goes, hey, I'll hook you up. I'll get you a hat. So he got us a hat, and it was Haven's birthday coming up, and he got Joey Logano to sign the hat, Haven happy birthday, and shipped it to us. Now, had we not opened our mouths and shared our dreams, none of that would have happened. So share your dreams, because even stuff I say to somebody, they're like, like microland, like, oh my God, what does that mean? Foster children, all of a sudden you make connections, and that dream becomes real, and they hold you accountable. So really, I thought he was going to share, but he's playing shy today, whatever. He might show up at some point.
He could change his mind.
Yeah.
The only thing we know is that we don't. The only thing we know is that we don't, But yeah, he's actually come up to the front of the room and shared his affirmations. We get him to do affirmations.
And here's a kid who has social anxiety, and he has autism, and social anxiety it's big for him, and he can stand up here and do it. It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So, guys, this is the essence of our business. The 10 core commitments is what we do, but this is what we have to do in terms of building our business. Always piquing interest. Okay. I always tell people, you walk into somebody's house, if they have a cat and dog, what happens? The dog comes and mauls you to death, and after a couple of minutes, what do you say? Where'd that cat go? The cat created curiosity. So when you're inviting people, pique interest, create curiosity, don't satisfy it. If you're getting your hair done, when do you prospect or talk to the person doing your hair about the business? When they put the cape on or when they're taking it off? Just about, otherwise, before they're taking it off. Otherwise, they're going to keep you there as long as they need to, so they think they know what it is. And what does Jeff Olson talk about? I know he hit this in Long Beach, and I'm sure he hit about this in Indy. Point the tool. We are only messengers. We are only messengers. You'll always be pointing to a tool. Share a picture. Share a video. Get people on a three-way call, and that's what this is all about right here. So, Judy,
yeah. And when you said about being a messenger, I always tell people, think like a 10-year-old or 12-year-old, who just turned 12. But that's how, if you're getting too complicated, or you're sharing all the ingredients or all the science, and people are like, wow, it's going over their head. So as you're talking, and you think you're talking too much, say, can a 10-year-old do what I'm doing? Haven can certainly point to a tool. He can go, believe me, he'd love to be on a computer right now. He can point to a tool. He can show a picture. He can send a video. If somebody asks about the ingredients, I don't know, it's all natural. Hey, is that important to you? Let me send you a document. Let me show you a video. Let me get you on the phone with somebody. You see the way I don't go, even though I know more information, I keep it short and simple. And if it's really important to them, then we share a tool or do a three-way or something too. So if that's an issue for you, I've said to people who talk a lot, especially maybe you're introducing it or something, I'm like, do you talk more than 2 to 5 minutes? She goes, yeah, usually it's about a half an hour, right? I'm like, no. I said, so I'll say, set your alarm. I said, before you talk to anybody, or you're going into a party and you wanted to talk to somebody, set your alarm for 5 minutes, and when that alarm goes off, or when you're on the phone, you say, hey, I gotta go. And that alarm's like the trigger to stop and move on. So a couple of tips with, certainly this is our cycle of duplication. I always say, be robotic. And people say, well, Judy, we're in the people business, relationship building. What do you mean by building be robotic? And this was taught to me a long time ago, because when I started, I would get a no, and I'd be like, I wasn't used to getting no's. I was like, it was really hurtful for me. And I was like, how could that person say no to me? They don't even know me. And this coach said to me, he says, no, Judy. He says, you do your numbers, and he says, you just do it. One Monday to Friday, he would say to me, he says, we complete our action plan. Saturday and Sunday, we regroup. We say what worked, what didn't work, tell me what you did. And then Monday to Friday, like brushing your teeth, Be robotic, right? Do you think about brushing your teeth? Do you go, hey, I wonder what toothpaste to use today? Oh, should I brush up, down, which toothbrush? How long should I brush? You know, like, what color? We don't ask ourselves those questions. What do? We just do it automatically. Make your business robotic and automatic, meaning that you got your numbers for the week. Don't think about it. Every single yes or no, who cares? My goal, it's a numbers game. So if I got to talk to 10 people, I got 10 on my mind, whether you use 10 pennies, whether you whatever. So when I'm talking to somebody, I'm urgent. I'm like, hey, I don't care if you say yes or no. It's like, just give me an answer, because I need to get my 10 done so I can go on and do something else. Do you see how every single person I weigh so much on, oh my God, I was expecting them to say yes and they said no, what's going to happen? I'm going to be a freaking emotional roller coaster. Don't do that. So be robotic, set your numbers, just do your numbers. Don't think about it. Weekends, regroup, think about your numbers. Monday to Friday, brush your teeth. This is like brushing your teeth. Be robotic. Does that make sense to you guys? Yes. And when you start thinking like that and you really don't care, because this guy, he'd say, well, you shouldn't care. I said, but I do care if I get a no. He's like, Judy, the moment you don't care whether you get a yes or a no is the moment you'll start to succeed in this business. And I'm like, you're crazy. I have to get yeses to succeed. He says, the moment you don't care if you get a yes or a no is the moment you'll start succeeding. What happens? When I really don't care, my posture goes up. It's not what happens, right? I'm like, I don't care if you say yes or no, I'm doing it anyways, right? So, you know, that's just the way our brains work, and people will pick up on that vibe, okay? So your posture will go up. So robotic, Monday to Friday, like brushing your teeth. I mean, make your own schedule, whatever works for you. But when your action plan is set out, you execute your action plan, and you say, okay, that's it, I'm doing my 10, and after my 10, then I can do my laundry and do all my other stuff, but nothing happens till my 2's done, or my 5's done, or whatever that number is. Does that make sense? So robotic, was there something else I think about?
One thing too is that treat it like a business. Pretend you've got a job, but treat your business like a job. If you don't show up for work one day, what happens? You're probably not, well, you're not getting paid, you might get fired. You don't show up 2 days in a row, you know, you probably definitely get fired. So, you know, treat it like a job in the sense of allocating your time and then execute it because it is your business. So, important.
And the most important thing to remember, it's all in the follow-up. It takes 2 to 8 exposures before somebody will buy. As a customer, it might be just sample or see a picture and they buy, but certainly as a brand partner. So here's a little thing that I always call it the 4-step that I put in my head with any buying decision. I truly believe these are kind of the steps that people go through. And if you think of your Neora business and this cycle here as kind of those steps. So what's the first step if I wanted to buy a car? My first step today, we were just talking about that you can buy it through technically a vending machine. But what do I do? Because what? I go online. I start to go, oh, what make, what model, what type of car. I do everything online, right? We go and find information. Is that not our first step typically?
Yes.
So with Neora, your first step is what? We give people information, whether we show them a picture, they watch a video, we give them some information, a booklet or a magazine. That's step number 1, right? In a buying process. So we've done step 1. Step 2 is what? Now I want an experience. So now I'm decided I want that RX 350 Lexus. What am I going to do? I want an experience. It's nice to see what's on paper, but I'm going to be a car dealer. What am I going to want to do? Sit in the car, smell it, look at all the fancy buttons. I won't look at the engine, but maybe he will. I'll look at the trunk space, right? That's what I'm going to do. I want to take it for a test drive. I want to have an experience, right? But something I'm going to buy. So what about Neora? What's our experience? We're going to sample the products. Do you see how it's the same? It's a buying process that you're bringing people through. And if you use these 4 steps, you're going to bring people further along. Because what happens often is people stop after step 2, right? Did people go missing in action for you guys? They don't return calls right after that step 2. So how we set it up is when you're talking to somebody that seems relatively serious and perhaps, you know, somebody's very clear, I just want the product, but if they're open to maybe looking at a business, I like to set it up at the beginning and say, you know, Wendy, hey, I don't know where you're at. I know it may not be your thing right now or whatever, but I just want to let you know, here's how we do things at Neora. I don't like kind of being rushed into things or pressured into things, or I don't like surprises unless they come in small packages, and so, and they're shiny. And so I just, you know, want to let you know that kind of here's how we roll with Neora, you know, so here's the 4 steps, and I'll tell them, you know, so first, you know, you've already looked at some information, I gave you a sample. The next step is, what do we want to do? I want to talk to real people. You know, those nice videos, those nice shiny videos that Neora has, they're really nice, but people don't believe them. They want to talk to a real person. They want to talk to somebody like me. They want to talk to somebody to say, tell me what it's really like. before I bought my franchises, I mean, I was spending a lot of money, you know, and I went and sat in front of that franchise for 2 hours, and I watched. Actually, we actually saw an employee stealing. I'm like, oh, there's my future employee. Next. Right? But I sat there and I watched. I wanted to feel the experience. What would it be like for me being in that store as the owner? I called the other owners. That's like, what is that called, guys? That's our three-way calls. Use your three-way calls. Don't say, I'm going to go do a three-way call. Hey, I know it's kind of a big decision for you. You don't know where you're at, but why don't we just talk to Jill? You know, Jill actually, you know what? She's like you. You know, she kind of was really undecided, didn't know what she wanted to do. Hey, let's just talk to Jill. You know, you'll be able to ask her the real questions because she's a really cool girl. You know, why don't you talk to Jen? You know, she has a similar background. Why don't we just share her story? You know, because I know talking to me, that's one thing, and you see all those videos, but now you're talking to a real person, and you can ask the real questions. So I'm like, if I were you looking at this business, that's the way I'm phrasing it, I would want to talk to some real people. Before I go and buy that car, I'm still knows I can be psycho. I'll be watching it on, once something's in my mind, look out. So I'll be on the road going, oh, look at that color, oh, look at that model, right? Oh, who's driving it? Older people, younger people? What kind of features are on that car? And I'm telling you, if it's in a parking lot where I am, I'll literally stock it out and kind of like hope the owners come back really soon because I want to talk to a real person to find out what's next. Is it really what they say it is? Does that make sense? Yep. That's the step 3. So you tell people that in advance. And so while you're looking at this, I know you're not decided yet. I know you don't have time. I know it's not your thing. I know you don't have money. I just tell them that. But let's just get you all the info, you know, and that way you don't talk to some real people. Does that not sound just normal and real? Yeah. Does that not just sound like a buying decision? Okay, the moment someone pressures me, I'm out of there, and I've walked out of stores. I'm like, they start pressuring or guilting me, I'm gone. I like to know up front what's going to happen. And then the last step is, what? Show me the money. Right? If I got to buy a car, now I'm going into the finance manager's office. I'm like, okay, what's it going to cost? Am I financing it? What am I doing? What's the extra insurance? All this kind of stuff that I need to do, right? Is that not what we do afterwards before we make that final decision? What do we have with New York? That beautiful little sheet, the Optier pad, where we go through and we show them the numbers. So hey, I know it's timing's not right for you. You know, do you know how I'm endorsing what they're telling me, all their negatives and all that? But let's just walk through, then you'll have the info when you're ready. Because all their objections, they'll be more open to actually really telling you their objections. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't want to meet with you. Why? They're afraid you're going to try to sell them. They don't want to say no to you. They feel guilty. They don't want to spend the money. Do you know? But once they've seen everything and now they see how they're going to make their money back, it's no longer an expense. It's now an investment. Here's what we're going to do. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so I want you to think of the buying process, and that's what we do for everything. This is no different. Don't make it different and don't make it weird.
All right, so, you gotta wait for the slide to change. Launching a real results party. Who has had a real results party in the last month? I'll give you some grace there, okay. 3 people. How much? What's the population of this area or the area that you live in?
A-home or Facebook.
1 point, okay. Now, here's the thing. There's lots of ways to have a party, okay? But have one in home for the people that are local, because when you can touch and experience the product, it's a different thing. If you're seeing something through Facebook, you know, they're going to respond to pictures and stuff like that. But you know what, guys? Why would you want to, if I told you couldn't do a real results party and only do Facebook parties, you'd say, oh, I'm not going to tell them I'm going to do it. We always do what we're not supposed to do. So I'm telling you, don't do a real results party, and hopefully we can change that thinking. But here's the whole thing is that when you're doing that, use every multiple possible asset that you've got. You've got your home, and when people are in your home, there's a trust factor. I mean, there was probably 20 some odd people the other night at Mary's, brand partners that weren't active in a while, and there were some guests. And they leave there having experienced something, talking to people, and they're probably asking questions like Judy was just talking about. Very, very important. And I know a lot of people are doing Facebook parties. That's great. You can do a Zoom. I know some people are doing calls towards the end of the month, a 15-minute blitz call. There's lots of ways. But use every possible source because they're there. Okay? The key is this. Expose people. We want to take people from not knowing to knowing. Whether they're looking at a picture, whether they're watching a 28-minute overview. Amber's new presentation is awesome. Puya's is now posted in the back office. There's a whole bunch of different ones. You know, whoever relates to your prospect, send them that information. Send them the picture. Send them the real results picture. We'll talk a little bit about that. So, but this is really important, Jude. Anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, and be you. So the thing that this man does, he's absolutely incredibly petrifies me. I cannot be him. I'm not his personality. I'm actually a really shy person. You may not know that, but I'm a very shy person. Walking into a room with people is overwhelming to me. Standing up here, I'm getting better. But so be who you are and find your style. I can't be him and he can't be me, okay? So these are some of the things that I do to find. So I find somebody that I like within your, I have a couple of people that I really like their styles. I like the way they talk. I like the way they present. They're me. Find them, watch them, stalk them out on Facebook, friend them, okay? Because if that's your style and they're, sorry, let me repeat that, somebody who's successful, and follow and emulate them. Think of a sales experience where, you know, you really liked it. You know, there's certain sales experience where I'm like, wow, I really like that. And so emulate, what was it that I liked about it? Well, be that. There is no right or wrong, just be who you are. But some of the things when we are talking to people and, you know, to not be that salesy person, what's some of the steps that we want to do? First off, what do we want to do? We want to serve, not sell. So any conversation I get into, I'm the conversationalist. I'm like asking them questions. I'm looking, I'm finding, I'm genuinely interested in that person. I'm not just waiting for an opening to go, hey, by the way, look at this. I'm trying to find out about them. Isn't that step number one? We really just want to find out about them. So to find out about them, am I doing 80% of the talking or 80% of the listening? 80% of the listening, right? So what else am I going to do after that? I'm listening to them, I'm hearing them, and then I'm very upfront. If I'm talking to Jen, and during the conversation, all I'm thinking about at some point, I got to talk about New York. The whole time I'm talking to her, my mind, and I'm not going to be authentic. I'm going to be weird, and I'm going to get all stressed out. So my conversation with Jen, if I plan on talking to her about Neora, I'll say, hey Jen, I'd really like to catch up with you, and hey, I have something to share with you. If I'm going to lunch, there was an old friend of mine that I hadn't seen in years. It would have been really rude and weird of me to just talk business with him. I hadn't seen him in years. I said, hey, let's go for lunch, let's go grab a coffee. And he knew what I was doing. He kept asking. I said, no, not now, I just want to catch up with you. And I would go back to his family. And by the end, I said, hey, okay, now I'll give you a sample. You know? And I said, now we'll set up a separate meeting to talk business, because I would have been very, that happened to me once. And I was like, that didn't feel good. I don't do it to others. So when we want to talk to people, the next step is what? Now we want to tell them, hey, so I'd love to, I've heard everything you said, I've listened, and you know what it sounds like is blah, blah, blah. I'd love to share something with you. Would you be open to come have a coffee with me? Let them know what you're going to do. Let them know you're going to talk about, you know, a business you're going to, it may not be for you, I totally get it, but, you know, you might know someone. Does that make sense? What do we want to do after that is, so as we're talking to them, we want to take the pressure off too. So while I'm sitting down with somebody, I want to take the pressure off immediately. I'm like, okay, Autumn, I get this probably isn't for you, or maybe it's not for you. And don't worry, I'm not here to convince you. I just want to share some information with you, educate you on what we're doing, and I want to make sure it's 100% fit, or we're not doing this. You know, we're not, because you and I, we might travel together, we might have some fun, we might go on some holidays. You're going to be stuck with me for a long time, right, Jessica? That's a long time you'll be stuck with me. and so I want to make sure it's a fit for you and a fit for me. Isn't that a lot different than trying to convince somebody? And what's the last step? Sometimes you got to take it away. Sometimes, I mean, I'm doing a three-way with someone and there's no love there. There's nothing happening, right? And I'm just kind of like, you know what? Renee, I don't know, I'm not feeling the love here. What's going on? I'm like, where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm going to say, I don't think this is right for you. I don't think you're really into this. And then you're going to probably open up and share something, right? So it's kind of like the takeaway versus trying to convince you. And you'll either fess up and give me your real objection, or you will say, you know what? Yeah, I'm just not there. I'm like, hey, why don't we just get some products for now, and maybe we'll build up towards, you keep in touch. Does that make sense? Yeah. So being willing to take it away is powerful. And what does it do to your confidence? You feel good. You feel, you've got integrity and you're real. So that's just some of the things that I do to be authentic, because I can't be otherwise. It gets really ugly fast. So.
All right, your Edge, we're all familiar with Edge. Okay, it's a very, very powerful tool. There's lots of stuff that's in there. And there's going to be a few things that will be changing, and I'll talk about the rhythms is going to be changing November 1st. Okay. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But product sampling system in the back office, guys. Use that. And if you don't want to do it that way, order them yourself. You pick and choose. What is it, $4.95 in the States? I mean, it costs me more to ship something, okay? And that's just shipping. So they're shipping it for you. In Canada, you can send stuff to Canada. Only in Canada and the United States. And I know they're getting rid of the Prolistic, I believe. You know, so I don't know if they've gotten rid of it yet. You know, but so we've got the chews, we've got the night cream, and then we've got the daily regime that you can send out to people. So send samples, people.
Are you saying they're getting rid of the Prolistic sample?
They're discontinuing the sampling. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. They're not getting rid of Prolistic.
No, the Prolistic is an amazing product.
There's a lot of people here with not
yeah,
listening.
sorry, no, thank you. But they're discontinuing the Prolistic sample. Okay, so make sure you're doing that. You know, you're getting NGB points when you've got your egg every month. And 30 points pays for a sample to be sent out for you if you want. You know, you got the team communicator, Go Prospect. I mean, I couldn't live without Go Prospect. You know, if I had a company and I wanted a website or something, and I had to develop that, you know how many thousands of dollars it would cost to set it up? But more importantly, it's the maintenance of it and the upkeep of it. And how many companies do you know that have got a website, then the web designer leaves, and then they go see a new guy, and what does the new person say? Oh, I don't work on that platform. I need to create a new one for you. So you're going to be spending thousands of dollars more on that. So for, what is $29.95 in the States? I get my numbers mixed up between Canada and the States, so. $29.95 a month is an investment, plus it's a write-off for your business. So you need to be doing that. The edge training is in the back office. Anything you need to learn, whether it be RRPs, 3-ways, you know, having an RRP, whatever you need to learn, it's in the back office. Just go look for it. You know, when's the last time you invested in yourself, in your business? When's the last time you took time to see what's there? Because there's nothing more frustrating than somebody from your team calling you, and it was just talked about on the corporate call, or there's a video that could explain it even better. Okay, always be pointing to a tool, because if you answer those questions to your team all the time, what are they teaching you? To be dependent on me. And this is about being independent. We have a system. Everybody's heard the definition of system: save yourself time, energy, and money. A franchise is a system. So we have a system. Save yourself time, energy, and money. Follow the system, because the system is on 24/7. We are not on 24/7. Engage people into the system. Focus on the system. So save yourself time, energy, and money. Okay, so make sure that you're using the system, and teach your team to use the system. What did J.O. talk about in India and in Long Beach? Be replaceable, not remarkable. Be replaceable, not remarkable. Because if you have to be remarkable, that means that you need to be on all the time. And this is a business that can go on. You know, if Judy and I decide to do whatever and take a week off, we don't want our business to come to a halt because everybody's dependent on us. So make sure people are focusing in on the system. Okay? Really, really important.
I just want to touch on sampling for a minute, and there's actually some tips from a professional salesperson, and a couple of tips that he gave was, first and foremost, obviously, as I just talked about, we're talking to people, finding out about them. Find out what their issues are, what their concerns are. Like, it's really important to get that information. Don't assume, you know, someone's skin looks like they got acne all over, that's their biggest concern. They might be worried about their thighs. Okay, so ask them what their concerns are. Don't jump. The second thing, what he said to do is make sure you show them pictures only of what they're asking about. And here's why he says to do that, because if we show them all the pictures and all this and that, what's going to happen? We get overwhelmed. What happens when we get overwhelmed? Right? And when we try to show them all, what are we trying to do? We're selling them. When we talk, the more we're selling. Okay? So less pictures, show them just what they're asking about. And say, oh, here's another one. Now you're scrolling through the pictures while you're, right? But here's the thing. What he says is actually 70% of people will actually upsell themselves. 70% of people is what he said. So if I just keep it now, because the moment I get like too much information, I'm like, you know what, let's just talk about this again tomorrow. I'm done. I get full, and I'm like, my brain's spinning, and I stop. Isn't that how we feel sometimes when somebody's loading us with too much? And probably today you guys are feeling a little bit like that. So you So that's definitely what you want to be doing, okay? You want to definitely just focus on that and know that 70% of people will actually upsell themselves. Okay, and they'll say, oh, what about this? I saw that on your Facebook post too. Then at least they're in control and it's not feeling like, and they're going to trust you more. And then what do we want to do after that? As we're talking about the pictures, we always talk 90 days. Okay, never, aside from the eye serum, always show your pictures saying these are in 90 days. Why? What am I doing? I'm setting them up maybe to win the 90-day challenge. But what am I doing? I want stability in my business. I don't want an open door, in and out, in and out, in and out. And you want to give them a reasonable chance of success. I remember going to a chiropractor and I had some pain, and I go there and I'm like, okay, does the whole evaluation. I'm like, okay, so what did I want to know? I wanted the truth. I said, don't tell me come to one appointment for a treatment and then give me 20. Tell me what it's going to involve. And he said, well, here, and I love the way he laid it out for me. He says, hey, Judy, here's what's going to happen. He says, it's going to take 2 months. He says, you're going to need to come here, once or twice a week for 2 months. Here's your cost. At home, you're going to need to do this. So I'd already invested. I spent the money he told me, even though it was over a period of 2 months, which was 3 months, I'd already spent the money. Emotionally, physically, mentally, I'd already embraced that 3-month period. Does that make sense? You do the same with Neora. It's like, hey, I don't know, everyone's skin's different, but here's what I know. All these people here, it took 90 days. I don't know what's going to work, first or better on you or whatever, but, what I'm going to suggest to you, be the expert. You're the expert. I will use these words. Hey, what I'm going to recommend. You know more than them. Don't be afraid. You are the expert. Hey, here's what I'm going to recommend. You're talking about this, this, and this. How about, the advanced skincare? And we're going to look at a 90-day program. And, worst case scenario, you got a 30-day money-back guarantee. But every single month, that first month, it took me a month and a week or 2 weeks before I saw results with the night cream because I was using a collagen product before, okay? And so imagine if I quit when I got the email about, my auto ship going through. It's like, I don't want to spend that money again. That's what we do, right? It's like, I don't see any results, I'm not buying it again. But when, Judy told me I needed to do 90 days, what are they going to say to themselves? They've already spent the money for 3 months. Set them up to win. Don't make them put all that pressure on that first 3 weeks. And some people only get 2 weeks if they sign up at the end of the month. They're getting that email 2 weeks into trying the product. Don't make them make that decision. Help them out. Let them invest mentally, physically, emotionally, financially for 3 months. Worst case scenario, you've got a 100% money back guarantee. So that's something that's really important. Yeah, that's basically it. And when we sample, one of the things we've been using and I find is very effective is let people know up front, whether you give them a video or you sample the product, that there's 3 options. And you just want to lay it out. You just want to say, John, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Trying my product, blah, 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 blah. I'm giving you, I'm just really thanking you. I say, hey, I just want to let you know, I don't like surprises. Back to my I don't like surprises, except if they're in tiny boxes. And I say that. And they laugh, but, it makes me real. And I said, so I just want to let you know that, when you try the sample, here's kind of the expectations. You'll have 3 options. What am I doing? I'm giving him a way in. I'm telling him that, hey, you don't have to buy it. So option 1 will be like, not really your thing, you're not ready to do this kind of thing. No problem. I just really appreciate your feedback. And if you say that's your option, then I'll say, great. If you choose as option 1, then I'll say, hey, would it be okay to follow up with you? When? Hey, maybe you know some people that are looking for some good skincare or, some extra money. Would that be okay? Hey, could I put you on my VIP customer list? Do you see what I'm doing? I'm asking, even though he said no, not now, I'm getting, that he's going to stay in touch. I'm going to keep dripping on him, or maybe a referral. Does that make sense? Option 2 is what? Hey, you saw some products, or you really like the feel of the product, or you watched the video and you like some products. That's awesome. Let me know which products you like most, and I'll make sure I get you the best price. You got to tell them this. I'll make sure you get the best price. What am I doing? I'm taking control, right? I don't want them to just go to my website or never go to my website. I want them to call me back, let them know, kind of what products they're interested in. And if that's their option, what am I going to do? I'm going to say, that's awesome. I'm going to send them that beautiful sheet the company made, the 2-side product off. I'll send them that. I'll send them the, the BP app and the PC app. And I'll say, hey, I'm going to shoot you with some info. Look it over. Check the products, just to make sure, whatever, the pricing and all that. And let's get back on the phone in half an hour. When we get back on the phone, they're going to tell me. And I'll say, wow, you're like at 140. You're so close. Do you know that 150, you get free shipping? we give out samples not only of skincare, but our most recent brand partners, we also, even though they were interested in skincare, we gave them some, you know, Youth Factor and what else, some Youth Factor, a couple of our, and some shoes. And so even though she was only interested in the night cream and day cream, she bought a starter package. Why? Because as we were having the conversation, I did exactly that. She said, well, I want this, and I want that. Once they're into 2 products or 3, they're at that skincare minimum. Okay, you're like, hey, this is gonna save you money. You're getting free shipping. This is like a bundled package. Does that make sense? And then she said, oh, and what about that drink, that green thing you gave me there? And I said, oh, that's, and she was a businesswoman. I said, you know, I said, I need to be really honest with you. I said, if you want to add that on, you're probably better suited to get our VIP package. I said, I know you're not interested in building a business, but it sets you up. You know what I'm saying? So I upgraded her to being a brand partner because she wanted the wellness too. And now she was getting into the $300-400 range. And I'm like, you might as well buy the $500 one. It's the best value. You get to try everything. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's option 2. But do you see how I took control back? I'm like, okay, so you ready to go? And I'm just going to go, okay, so what website do you want to use? Okay, what's your credit? I don't ask them. I'll say, okay, well, let's just get this thing. Let me do it for you. Let me take care of it for you. I'm not going to ask them. I'm taking it because you never know how many dogs die and water heaters break and sudden expenses show up right when someone's ready to buy. So you have an app right there when you're on the phone with them and you just fill it out and I get their credit card, don't hesitate, and you just say, okay, I'll let you know when it's in. Yeah, okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
You take control, you're the expert. And the last option is as, you know, I'm telling them, hey, and so, you know, as you're looking at this, you might be kind of going, man, I know a few people. You know, I'm looking for a little bit of extra money. You might want to do something like I do, and I can set you up is a great word to use. Don't say they're buying a business, but I can set you up so you can earn some free products, you know, or you can make some money should you decide to, you know, take a look at this business. And this one was a business owner, so it was a no-brainer because it was a write-off to her. I was like, listen, it's a no-brainer. You buy the business kit, it's a write-off. If she buys it as a consumer, it's an expense. Does that make sense? And so if they want the BP kit and they want more, and if you want that, let me know. I'll get you some more info, and then I'll send them either the side gig or the new Neora video. Isn't that amazing? Like the new presentation. Okay. Does that make sense, guys? That's every single person. If you just write out those 3 options and don't judge, just say it. Just say it, because it takes the ick out of it. I have so many people that say to me when you know they're like, oh, now what do I do? That person's a customer. Now how do I talk about the business? I'm like, dang. We got to do it up front so there's no surprises, and you planted a seed that they might actually come back to you. You've already put that ick out there, that now you don't have to make it this big. I got to talk to them about the business. Just throw it out at the beginning. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. Don't worry about it. That's how you're going to get more brand partners.
All right.
Yeah.
Recognition. This is the fun part.
Woohoo!
How many new baby brand partners do we have in the room in the last 30 days? All right.